Published, 9:56 Eastern Standard Time, 10 January 2018. Updated, 12:25 Eastern Standard Time, 10 January 2018. Aston Martin's second century plan was to release 7 new high-performance cars over 7 years, but it has also revived an old one too. The model in question is the achingly beautiful DB4 GT, which was first created by the iconic British brand 6 decades ago and built in extremely limited numbers. 2 years ago, Aston Martin confirmed it would create 25 continuation cars at the same Newport Pagnell assembly plant the original car emerged from in 1959. And now the first one is finally here. It won't come cheap, though. Each example is a handmade masterpiece and the price has not been disclosed. To give some context, the originals fetch a jaw-dropping £3 million now. Aston Martin's corking continuation, just 25 revived lightweight DB GT track cars will be produced by Aston Martin, and this is the first one complete. Just 75 of DB4 GTs were produced during the car's initial production phase that culminated in 1963. Another 19 were issued to coach-building extraordinaires Zagato to put their own twist on the British beauty, and one other was released to Betone to create a unique Betone Jet version. Quite simply, they're extremely rare. The 25 continuation models are due to come from Aston Martin in the coming years, the one pictured being the first of these. Each will be handcrafted by Aston Martin Works' highly skilled technicians who have been perfecting reconditioned cars since the brand moved its assembly line to its state-of-the-art headquarters in Gaydon 2003. In fact, this is the first production series car to be produced at the Newport Pagnell facility since the first-generation Vanquish ceased in 2007. Here, at the spiritual home of cars like the much-celebrated DB2 and D5, mechanics are striving for ultimate authenticity by reproducing each of the 25 examples using old-world craftsmanship. Each one even gets a continuation van vehicle identification number, following the original cars made 6 decades ahead of them, but they'll also be blending this with modern techniques and components to create a selection of lightweight track-only cars that should handle as gloriously as they look. The first batch of continuation Aston Martin DB4 GTs has been completed at the carmaker's former production facility in Newport Pagnell. Since 2003, the British marque has been assembling its vehicles in Gaydon and last year moved into new premises in St Athan, Wales. Just 75 Aston Martin DB4 GTs were ever produced at the facility between 1959 and 1963. A selection of other DB4 GTs were handed to coach builders Zagato and Betone. The model pictured is the one-off Betone Jet. Improvements include upgrades to the 3.7-litre straight-six engine, which will see each car putting out around 340 bhp, and modern suspension, braking and safety components to make sure they have the appropriate stopping performance too. Aston Martin remains tight-lipped about the asking fee for each of these cars and who has purchased them, but if their value is anything close to the fees being paid for the 75 original models, it would be in the region of £3 million for each one. The first selection of the continuation batch has already been delivered to the lucky owners, though only after 4,500 man-hours spent building them, which will see the project run throughout 2018 to complete the 25 promised vehicles. Each of the continuation cars takes 4,500 man-hours to produce as technicians look to recreate authentic craftsmanship techniques. As you can see from this classic racing shot, the continuation models are a like-for-like revival of the original. Owners will also get access to an Aston Martin Racing Le Mans driver who will teach them how to drive the cars in the period style. By period style we assume there'll be plenty of four-wheel drifts. If this image is anything to go by, a buyer will also be given access to a 2-year international track driving program held at a number of the world's finest racetracks, including the spectacular Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, and they won't be trained by any average circuit specialist. An Aston Martin Racing Le Mans winner and Goodwood Revival regular will show each owner how to master the art of driving their priceless car in the period style. Paul Spires, managing director at Aston Martin Works, said, "It's a source of enormous pride that our Tickford Street premises are once again building new cars for Aston Martin. The DB4 GT continuation is the perfect demonstration of the capabilities we have here at Works and testament to the timeless appeal of Aston Martin's illustrious classics. The DB4 GT has a rich racing heritage. Here it is, right, pictured during the 1959 Le Mans 24 Hours endurance race. Original Aston Martin DB4 GTs, like the one pictured, are now worth more than £3 million on the classic car scene." Sir Sterling Moss pictured at the wheel of an Aston Martin DB4 GT during the Ford Water Trophy at Goodwood in 1960. Andy Palmer, CEO at Aston Martin and the brains behind the 7-year Second Century Plan, added, "For more than half a century Newport Pagnell was the heart of Aston Martin. Thanks to the efforts of those at Aston Martin Works, it has since become the torchbearer for our heritage division. It's immensely satisfying and wholly appropriate that this historic, yet state-of-the-art facility should now form a key part of our expansion, together with Gaydon and our all-new production facility at St Athan, which is progressing towards completion. It's my pleasure to see production officially return to Newport Pagnell." 2 years into the Second Century project, Aston Martin has already revealed the DB11 and DB11 Volante as well as the all-new Vantage, unveiled back in November. Aston Martin's Second Century project has already seen the arrival of the DB11 left and all-new Vantage right.